Good morning and welcome to Frank's School, 6-year, 100th day, first video of two. I decided I'm going to go in two videos because I don't want to be too rushed. And this whole experience is so intense of having these two classes of adult learners. Actually, I think of them as CTLs, co-teaching learners, because they're learners, but I'm a learner probably more than them, more than they, if I want to be formal. Which brings up a register. Where is that? Register. And we're all doing it together. It's so intense. It takes me a day at least to sort of absorb how much I've learned in this experience. Well, anyway, I had said that the backbone, the meat, bread and butter, I guess you say, of the class called Werdz is these words that are brought in. But I knew time was going to be short. I didn't know how short in the case of the women's class, but I knew time was going to be short. So with the men, I just took two words. A plum, the words that came in were a plum and avuncular. Now, I had not taken a dictionary in. I did not even have a pen because it had to do with a point I was going to try to make down here. I was not going to make a written record. So it's one of the reasons this is so incomplete. I'm having to remember this now because I didn't write it down. A plum, we got the stress of it, and the man wanted to say aplomb, but then we used the dictionary. Well, because a dictionary, one of the men now has his own dictionary, and it's a good dictionary. It even has etymology in it. I was worried about that, and I think he was too, because this man, he knows what makes a good dictionary and what doesn't. But anyway, we figured out it's with a short, the word is a plum, and we got it. It was a noun in his context. Somebody could do something with a plum, and we settled on the definition of easy skill. It's a plum. I can do it with a plum. I can do it with easy skill. And then avuncular, to save time. Well, no, we used this dictionary. It was an adjective. I can't remember. I think that might have come from the book The Godfather. I'm not sure. I didn't write that down. Well, as I said. Anyway, I thought I knew what it meant, and we checked, and it does. It means like an uncle. A plum came from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and the guy kind of grinned about that because it's been a long time, very long time since I read that book, if ever, or saw the movie. But it seemed pretty clear that there was a certain irony here in him reading that book. We didn't go into that. And then I've grouped the men and the women together. Over with the women, time was so short because of such a long delay in starting that I said we won't even take any words unless there's time at the end. And at the end there was just barely time. I've learned now that I really should just teach right until the point where it has to stop, like the bell used to be in school, public school. And the word was pensive. We talked about the sculptor Le Penseur, and we knew what it meant, and we dealt with it real quickly. I don't recall the source. Well, anyway, that was class vocabulary. Now, I'm writing this down now, but I didn't before. The day was December 5th, 2017. And as I said, I took in no writing material at all, nothing written. I didn't even take a set of notes on it. I forgot. I was going to take a card that had a set of notes on it to keep me on track, but I even forgot that, so it was like, phew, it was out there. And I didn't have a pen. I didn't want a pen because as I say, I was trying to make a point, and I'll get to that in a minute. Let me go back to this dictionary. When we looked at the dictionaries, in Merriam-Webster, I think 2017, I don't know, 16th edition, 14th edition, I don't know. But anyway, it had etymology, and these men are so curious. Their academic curiosity is so powerful. You know, they didn't know maybe the word etymology, but they knew or thought that words had to come from someplace. And so I quickly explained it. Well, it shows. And the man who just got his dictionary, I told him, and he probably would have anyway, I said, read the explanatory notes at the beginning of the dictionary, because then you can use it very well. And also, being a paperback, I was showing him how you gently have to open it in the middle, and when you have a brand new book, and not just all of a sudden open it. And as an example of etymology, one I used to use in school, etymologies can be so interesting, where words come from. And I told him about Sappho of Lesbos, from where we get the word lesbian. That, of course, you can imagine kids in school, what? And the idea that on the island of Lesbos, everyone was a lesbian, even the men, what? But see, that's etymology. So anyway, that's what I keep stumbling onto these things, subjects that, I go in with a plan, but it just, because of their curiosity, it just takes off. All right, another thing that I had gone in with, I remembered about this. I had heard the word cheesing. There's a meteorologist that the men know from on TV, and I know too, and she had used the word cheesing on her Facebook. I was so cheesing online, and I had no idea what that meant. I looked it up, and as I suspected, it was slang. Dictionaries didn't really have it like that yet. It's too new. But it gave me a chance to teach about slang, that part of language which is moving so fast that the dictionaries can't keep up with it. And then also register, because I had noticed that she, speaking, would use for instead of for sometimes, like the weather for tomorrow. Well, she'd say tomorrow, I think, but it's one of those things we can slip in and out of either one of those. And it's really a matter of what's called register. And I had a chance to explain about that you speak one way at a viewing at a funeral, and you speak a very different way if you're with a whole bunch of your buddies and fooling around and stuff. Those are differences in registers. I compared it to a pipe organ where you pull out the stops and now the organ is playing in a different register. Well, they understood, and so interested they are. All right, the main thing I wanted to do here was to distinguish the oral tradition from the written tradition, and explaining that words and storytelling are both so much older than writing. A word does not have to be written to be a word. People say ain't a word because it ain't because it isn't in the dictionary. Well, of course it's a word, and it is in the dictionary, but that doesn't make it a word because it's in a dictionary. But anyway, I was wanting to get that across, and as evidence of it, I mentioned the most famous poet of all time, probably, was Homer, who could not read nor write. He was blind, is the legend. And yet a 500-page poem he could sing, another 500-page poem he could sing. Related to that, I said, and they don't think he had it memorized. The story, yeah, but not the words. And I'd asked if any of them could rap. I was almost afraid of that, because if any of them could sort of freestyle, free rap, I didn't know what can of worms that would open up. But none of them really felt that they could. There was something that I had learned in that exchange that it's escaping me just at the moment. Somehow I came up with Henry V's, I think it's called a panegyric, his speech in Shakespeare's play before a battle, stirring his men to battle. Oh, I know. I think I was doing that as an example of how much fun it is to be able to actually quote from Shakespeare. We few, we precious few, we band of brothers, for he who sheds his blood this day with me shall be my brother. Be he ne'er so vile, this day shall gentle his condition. And gentlemen in England, now abed, will think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, whilst any speaks who fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day. And that gave an excuse to tell a little bit about Renaissance man. Well, this is all very intense, this experience, and I'm sure I'm leaving some stuff out. But now let me go over to the women without their word, because I covered that already. Bye for now.